Hey everybody, you're at Steve Morris Engines. I'm Steve. This is a car that just came in for hub dyno. Now, this is a engine that we have already done, and we did this engine for Ron Westner. Ron came, picked up the engine off of the engine dyno. We did everything. This is a F2 reverse mount 540, and this was a nitrous engine conversion. We'll put this video at the end of the clip. You can see a link to hit here to watch the actual engine dyno video of this. And then Ron takes it home, puts it in his Nova. He's had this for a million years. It's his pride and joy, and he does a lot of the work himself, which is pretty cool. And so he brings it here, and there's a lot of stuff going on in this car. And he's having some struggles with it. Just didn't seem to be running right. And it's like, well, you took it with you off the dyno, and it's running fine. So there's got to be something else going on. So I said, hey, just bring it over. You're going to bring it over to have it hub dynoed anyways, because that's what we do, is we want to take a look at everything and make sure everything is, if there's any little issues here, there, anywhere else. And so that's what we've done. Okay, like I said, this is a 540 cubic inch gasoline, so C16, intercooled. So Ron, like I said, it was a nitrous engine conversion, and Ron brought us this engine and with a whole bunch of parts to convert over. So he already had a whole bunch of stuff, including the F2 reverse, including this intake manifold with the built-in intercooler in it. It's a combination sheet metal / billet intake manifold. Basically, this is like our stage 2 package with the different intake manifold than what we would normally do. F2, solid roller, just a good overall general package. You want to see what it is in a stage 2 package, you can go to our website and kind of get a gist of everything that's there. Coil on plug, Holley EFI. You can see that there is lines and lines and lines and then more lines in this car. A lot of stuff here. So when Ron brought it back to us, I cleaned up a bunch of things. I remade a tube for him here. I redid coil mounts and cleaned up some of the fuel system plumbing and coolant plumbing. And now we're in test mode. So let's get testing it. So we've been going over this and wanted to show you a couple really interesting things. So before you check out and go, this video looks boring, we're going to dyno this thing without a bell in race mode, with the bell in race mode, and then since this is a street strip car and he wants to drive it, this will be on a little filter for F2 that we've come up with, so filtered. And then this has cutouts, so then this is going to be open exhaust and then full exhaust out the back. I'm going to show you differences in horsepower from here to bell, full race mode, open headers to filter, and full street mode. Should be pretty interesting. So stay tuned. Alright, so that was first pull, open exhaust, no bell. So this is not exactly the way I gave it to him. I dynoed it with the bell on it. It's the exact same tune-up. All I did is I downloaded the exact same tune-up we had before, put the same sensors, everything back in it that originally was there. And let me download this, excuse me, this data log. This. Open the data log, take a look. You can see up there on the screen, well, It made 1466. I'll show you that in just a second. 1466 horsepower. We'll look at it on the dyno or on the data log here. And that was at 7,520 pounds of boost. So that all looks pretty good. That's pretty nice. Oil pressure, 108. Everything looks really nice through there. Fuel pressure looks good. And yep, that looks nice. The tune-up is really good because it's the same thing as what I already had on it. So we're gonna come out here. We're gonna put the bell on it, and this will be exactly the way I gave it to him off the dyno. Hi. Back up. Back up. I can't work with you standing here. That's not what you do. Alright, let's see here. There we go. A little up through there. This is probably where converter and stuff is starting to come through here. And this is just me letting off the throttle up there. So that looks right. Everything looks good. So let's put this bell on. Alright. Now, this isn't, obviously this is not ideal sucking out of a radiator, but it is what it is. He has some fresh air stuff he's trying to do here. It just is what it is. You're not going to get away from it unless you split radiators and do some other stuff. But as he's sitting right now, it is what it is. So, no changes. All we're going to do is make a pull with that bell on it. So, what I just did is I put in a safety for him, and I must have hit it at the wrong number. He has, Ron has both fuel, has a slow speed. That's one fuel pump. That's the race fuel pump. If you forget or just happen to not turn one switch off, or your second switch turns bad or something, this thing will run with one fuel pump on at low speed and burn the engine up. I don't ever recommend having two-speed pumps on it, and anything other than this thing, don't have it on switches, don't put it into tune. One pump, just let it run wide open throttle. It is never going to hurt it. It's no big deal. Or you have some kind of redundant thing that is always on no matter what, if it's making boost, something like that. So what I had done is I'd set a timing retard on it to enable if it didn't hit peak pressure, and I probably just set it up wrong because it obviously didn't have any timing in it, and it wouldn't even rev up. So let me download this data log real quick here. So let's go over here and I'll change that, and then we'll make a hit on it.
Yeah, it's in the middle. It's not all the way up.
It sounds like it broke.
Yeah. Halfway up, it's like right in the middle.
Yeah, it sounds like it broke. Probably transmission. Well, I guess we'll put some load on it here again and see. It's driving the hub, so
You want to put a cord
it is a Power Glide, and I don't think Power Glides hold this kind of horsepower, and I think it's quite possibly broke here. So we'll see real quick. We're gonna make another. I'll just roll into it and whack it and see if it zips right up to the rev limit again. If it does, I'd say it's probably killed something. interesting. I'm gonna have to think this through of what's going on here. But with the bell, we had the one deal where the pull just went crazy, and then I came back into it and just made a short pull because like, oh no, now it's all back again. It didn't come up on rev limiter. So on that one, it's very close to the same. It made a bunch more torque down low at this lower RPM. Like it's way better down through here. And about the same horsepower up here. So interesting. We checked the transmission fluid. Transmission fluid looks fine. And then it made that pull again on it. So could be something going on there, but not 100% sure. So, but it's the same basically horsepower. Made 56 instead of made 1456 instead of 1466. And I did run it out a little bit farther, and it's just a little bit down there, but it's better back here. Not exactly sure why. I think there really could be something going on in the car here. Not positive though. So anyways, I think it's close enough, and the engine still looks good. Everything's fine there in tune. Oh, I think we'll make a short pull with the filter on it and see what that does. Before I forget, don't forget merchandise. This is actually my wife's shirt. She loves this shirt. This is her whole idea. She goes, oh, let's do that. So you can support my wife in this whole deal. Still working on the Dewey shirts. We got some ideas, and I think what we're gonna do is we're going to show you guys some different samples of Dewey shirts that we're coming up with and let you kind of choose which one you think, you know, if it's the most popular one, I think that's what we'll do, and then we'll do some kind of pre-order deal. But don't forget, go back over to the merch store and grab some t-shirts, grab some hats. We got hats on there that look pretty nice. Yeah, those are pretty cool. Got more hats coming in, and we got some other cool shirts coming in too. Some more other cool shirts coming in too. If you're a nitrous guy and this hurts your feelings, you can just get a different shirt. Okay, so I pulled back short on it because I could hear it was not making any horsepower. And I just downloaded the graph, data log, and I'll show you this real quick. So this is the previous pull with the bell. And this is the air filter. And it was only going to make about 1,045 horsepower. So that is like astronomically low. That is 400 horsepower less with the filter on it. Now that is a small street filter. That is trying to keep things safe, man. So I think we'll just leave it, because this would be the street method. He had an air filter on it, and I'm telling you, this vibrant filter is better than the filter he had on it. But so you have a filter on it, and now we're going to do the turnout so it runs the full exhaust. Now he's got some issues with his full exhaust, and this full exhaust is the most restrictive thing I've ever seen in my entire life. It is probably a little bit hard to see. Watch out, dude. Watch out. Get back. But let's see if you can. I'm not sure if you can see up there or not. Oh, dogs gotta go everywhere. So, anyways, the exhaust does come all the way out the back here and right out through the bumper. Now he's gonna change something, but you can see right here. He's got the muffler is all the way in the back, and it actually goes into two single round pipes, so it's like literally half the header. You got 4 pipes on your header, you got 2 pipes in the exhaust. It's literally half. Now I've already talked to him about it. He knows it's restrictive. He's going to change it and take it off. But it's really interesting to see what this is going to do, because this is a really common mistake. People think that adding exhaust on your car probably doesn't hardly take any horsepower. No, they're wrong. We'll see what this takes. It's going to be kind of interesting to see. And I'm just going to run it a little bit. I'm not going to try run it all the way up to 7,500 because it's a waste of time and I don't want to, don't want to do anything. Now he wants to take the exhaust off right at the in front of the axle and see what it does there. So we might try doing that too. But let's see what it does. Full on exhaust, all the way out the back. It just zung right up, and then it sounded fine here. It lost another, not as much as I thought, and actually doesn't sound as bad as I thought. It's 1,022. He's still laying over, so that's where the air filter, and closed off exhaust. So I'm actually going to say the exhaust isn't nearly as bad as what I thought, which is interesting. And it did do what you would think, is it picked up a little bit of torque, which is probably correct. And it is pretty interesting. So let me get rid of this other one here real quick. Get rid of that one. And then, yeah, it looks a little funny because I'm not sure why it's overlaying graphs quite like this, but this was that pull with no filter, and this is with the filter and exhaust. So it picks up exhaust, or it picks up torque, which it should do. Still lays over. That is pretty interesting. And then say screw it, let's take the filter off of it and rear test it. Interesting. Now let's see, I didn't run it all the way out again, but it was a little bit better than I thought. So let's go down here and we'll overlay it with, so this is no filter, full exhaust. Yeah, so it is pretty flat right through there. So right in this area it is 100 horsepower off from full exhaust, and I'd be willing to bet you, I just don't want to run it up that high because I'll take a look at the tune-up. It only is logical, it's got to move, the more RPM it's moving and the more horsepower it's making, the more air it's got to move, so it's probably going to start leveling off there. Yeah. So I'd say it's definitely going to end up being a minimum of a couple hundred horsepower off in that full exhaust. But honestly, I'm not going to lie to you, it's a little bit better than what I thought it was going to be. And I'll go in there and look at the tune-up and see. But it's a pretty good illustration. That is, the air filter is a big deal. And I'm going to think about that, because their filters have been doing this for a lot of years, and usually filters are not worth that much. So gonna think about that. But anyways, if you got any ideas, you can comment about that. I'm sure somebody's already commented. There's probably 500 people that have already commented about the air filter before they even watched the end of the video. So you're gonna be thinking about that. But that's pretty interesting. So the no bell picked up torque on the bell, didn't pick up any real horsepower. That is not super uncommon, because part of the bell is it everything does much better as you're leaning on it harder. So the more air that you're requiring, the more the bell is beneficial. Like no air requirement, it really doesn't care. You're spinning it. The slower you spin it, the less it counts. And then the exhaust, that air filter is pretty interesting. And then exhaust being worth at least 100 right there. And I know if I revved it up, I'm sure this thing would be in the 200 plus range. But I'll take a look at the tune-up. And the primary thing is getting everything nice. It does start different on the with the exhaust closed, which is really weird. So I might mess with that too. So anyway, some pretty good, interesting information. The engine is rock solid. That's all cool. Might be something going on with the shifter or something like that. Haven't quite figured that out. But we're just gonna work on a little bit of the street tune-up. Race tune-up stuff is really easy. It is spot on the money. Don't mess with it, and it'll be fine. I think things ready to go out on street drive, test that, and then head to the track. So, this is Ron Westner's deal. I'm Steve Morris. Have a great day.